Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the channel. Today we are continuing with our update 1.37 little campaign, our session, our season, or series, whichever one you want to call it. And we are doing the Sardinia 800 pp race. It's a grinder. We're trying to offer you both options on how to make the grind easier, make the grind more inviting, make it more friendly, give you some options to race on. It's also going to give you the option to acquire a variety of cars along with the drive and increase your car collection. And it will also give you opportunities to tune. It will also give you opportunities to improve and drive the cars and fulfill your dreams and wants with the game, I think, is the best way to look at it. Today's option is in front of you. We've just been seeing an overview. It's the R92 from Nissan. It is one of the icons of the game. It might not be a 787B, but in its own right, it's an absolute gem. This is a car that you use for one of the Le Mans license tests. It is an absolute trip to drive. And around here, we're going to find out how will it go. So let's take a look at the settings. We're going to do this on a racing mediums. I think we're going to try and do a one stop. The no stop's just a little bit too far out for it. You have to go too slow. It is a fully customized actual setup. So let's see what we've got. Fully customizable setup. Please feel free to pause the screen. Please feel free to freeze frame it and we'll go through the adjustments. I'm going to read out front to rear. So body height adjustment 60/90, fully customizable suspension. Anti-roll bar 8/10. Damping ratio 29/32. Damping ratio and expansion is 30/42. Natural frequency 3.5 and 5.0. Negative camber angle 3 and 2.0. Toe angles front and rear are both 0. On a differential gear, it's fully customizable. We've got changes to the rear being 555. Downforce 502 on the front, 1600 rear, and that's everything on the rear. Fully customizable ECU is set to 100 and the power resistor is set to 98. The top speed is set to 370 and it's the fully customizable racing transmission. And we have, I believe, standard gearing. You can see that there with the final ratio at 3.5. But if you want to freeze frame this and compare that, that's up to you. Medium RPM turbo. We've got a great brake controller which we can choose to set how we want to. At this moment in time, I think I'm just going to hold off changing that and we'll do that as we go through the race. And then we've got no other options added. This is a full-blown race car. It's got everything that it needs. Let's get to the race. This is a 15-lap event. And if I can do the maths correctly, we should be stopping around lap 7 or lap 8. I think we're going to go fuel map 3 to start with and then push to where we need to get to. Settings for this race are going to be on assists, traction control 1, default ABS. We're putting them all on, folks. We're going to be grinding. We want it easy. We don't want to make mistakes. We want to win the most amount of money in the shortest amount of time. And if we're benchmarking it on the Tokyo 600, which was 12 laps around Tokyo, we wanted to be somewhere under the 30 minutes. We want to be 25 minutes, 26 minutes. We need a pee and a new drink every half an hour so that we are, as old men, we're able to get on with the game and be fully refreshed. So controller settings, I'm on a G29 with customized G25 pedals. For those that are interested, they're in it. The pedals are taken out of their containment unit, that plastic housing. They're turned upside down, they're spaced differently. My throttle pedal is actually higher than my other two pedals, and my clutch and brake pedal are actually together where I can press one with one toe and one with the other. We don't use the clutch in this game, but I can also do the same with my right foot. I will drive this with 2 feet, my left foot on the brake and my right foot on the throttle. So controller sensitivity is set to 5, force feedback max torque 5, force feedback sensitivity 6. Right, the setup was given to me by a subscriber, a viewer. I won't shout out who it is, but at the end of the day, I have had numerous people send me setups for this one. And at the end of the day, we're going to use it, we're going to blast it, we're going to put it in, and we're going to go from there. I actually think it was Red that sent me it. However, are we ready to go? Let's go. Click down 1, fuel map to 3. And we'll know where that is at the end of the straight. We want 7 laps out of this bad boy. Brake on the 100. Ease off the brakes as we get into turn 1. We've already made significant overtakes. The help aids are cutting in. I think I can go to fuel map 2 quite happily. Most cars in this race do a 2-stop. A couple of cars do a 3-stop. I think there's only one actually, which is Mr. Portilla in the Viper. We've just dunked somebody into the barrier, which was a bit unfriendly, but there we go. I think we're going to get fuel map 1 out of this. Mr. Gallo in the NSX. Go around the outside. We're up to 11th place. Now I wasn't going to start to include cars that sit outside the race, but hey, why would we grind against the whole fleet of cars if we're just doing the same race, eh? Why would we have a custom race against the whole fleet of cars? We want to do a custom race against the cars that we want to race against. So we could also be doing this at Le Mans, and we're going to be using some of these cars again at Le Mans, so I don't want to strip Le Mans of its potentials. What we want to try and use are cars that don't actually feature in this race. I think I've been kind of thinking a lot more about how we want this race to be more interesting. It is one of those races where you're almost guaranteed the clean race bonus. Mr. Yamanaka in 5th place. And Mr. Fraga in exactly the same car. I've got him lined up. I've got that car lined up, ready to do the event. And with that being the case, we're going to have a spare slot because there's 2 of those cars, the Supra GR Concept 18. I've got damage on my left hand side. I have to be a bit gentle here. But we're up to 3rd, and of course we've already got the fastest lap of 37.8. I think we're going to be somewhere in the 34s. We're going to use some more cars in the race that aren't in it, so we're going to try and stay competitive majorly to the GR3 process, but I'm not going to tell you what cars we're going to use wholly. We're going to let that be a bit of a surprise. 5th gear maximum here, there's a 135 and we're in the gravel just. 1st gear to slow it down, need to brake at the 150. We're some 4.5 seconds behind Mr. Portilla, who's out there in front, and there he is. I think we're going to go to lap 8, see how long these tyres last. Pit for 7 laps. And get another set of boots on just to make it worthwhile. A 1 stop. And if we're going to keep being honourable to the process, we've got the Spa race as well. And with the Spa race we need to save a few cars for that. But what I'd like to be able to do is include some of the requests that people have sent through. I don't know if there's a GR4 car that can run with these boys, but we'll have to see if there's something. The difference between here and Tokyo was the fact there was only, I believe, 16 cars in that race, so I had the ability to add 4 more. There isn't in this race, so what I'm going to do is replace cars and try and make the actual group, the custom race at the end, something more an event. There's a 34. I believe we can go faster than that. And we're into first place already. Got a lift there, the car doesn't want to turn. I think it's telling me that I need to put brake balance to the front. Yeah, it's much better with the brake balance at the front. So please don't forget, folks, if you have a suggestion that you've not seen, please make it. I'll put it as a... I'll always consider a car. I won't ever say no thank you. I'm always happy to accept. If you don't have a setup, you don't have a setup. I'll have to make one. Thankfully, most people that make suggestions do have a setup. Now I might choose to bring the Escudo here. This might be a reasonable place to bring the Escudo, because it can't run at Le Mans or at Spa because of night time. Also, the RCZ might feature well here. The RCZ Pikes Peak version. Don't know if the Audi would actually work well here. Whereas the Audi A5 is actually in the Group 2. The Group B Audi Quattro might actually figure quite well here. Short wheelbase though, bit like the Escudo. But it could be tremendous. And to see the AI race him at the end might be decent. And then I've got to find a car that we might want to race at the end as the Holy Grail sort of car. I might actually race Mr. Gallo's NSX, being a different NSX, you know, because there's an NSX in the Group 2s, the older one, that isn't particularly fast, which I might like to bring here and let Gallo race that in the final event. Where are we? Lap 6, got 2 more to go. We've got 3.5 laps of fuel, that's working out alright. Tyres aren't looking too bad. My assumption is, folks, that if you're pretty decent at this already, you won't need me to give you a guided lap tour of this circuit. And I'm actually braking for most corners in first gear. I probably would do better by rolling round them in second. 0.6 up on the time. We've already done a 132. We've bounced off the fence. That's never good. Mr. Fraga goes to pit with 41 seconds in the lead already. Nothing like a decent lead, eh? My assumption is we won't be far off lapping some of these bad boys. I think they're hard in the GR3 cars. Got damage on the front wing. There we go. We've devved that 0.6 that was there. We've now made that a loss. We're now 0.6 in the red. We've lost the damage on the front wing. Let's see if we can improve that. Lap 7. We're low on fuel. About to happen. We're going to finish the first round with about half a lap of fuel to go at the end of lap 8, which is pretty decent. There's Mr. Gallo. We just talked about him, didn't we? I think if I was to pull my finger out, I think there's a sub 30 lap going on here. if we really wanted to. If we really wanted to. Must say this is a fairly decent setup. I say fairly decent, who am I to say? It's an epic setup, it's really fast, it's really drivable. The car doesn't want to buck or kick, and I know there's the help aids on. You arrive at the other traffic so quickly. Rear tyres are looking cooked, but we'll get one more lap in. Oh my word, front end left wheel damage. He pulled out there, just got a bit close, didn't we? There's 32.278, we're just outside the fastest lap. Brake on the 150. We're going in the pits this time after a bit of gravel dusting. Lapped up to position 12, Mr. Rubbelaar in his favourite BMW. I don't think we need to teach him anymore. I think he had his lesson at Lego pretty often. I think he's been humbled enough. And it's great to hear the feedback this week. I think the Lego video from the start of this month, about a week ago, absolutely settled well with you guys, just showing how to conquer that mission, the last mission in the human comedy. I've had so much feedback saying that you've been able to successfully conquer it, see how it's done, understand the strategy, and I also have probably 100 messages each week alone just saying thank you very much for all the videos I've made. It really does touch me, it really does make me think, yes, I've actually done something useful for the community, and it's great to hear all the feedback. So thank you very much. You are a wonderful community and I really appreciate everything you do and say. Just supporting the channel by watching videos is fantastic. So here we go into the pits, end of lap 8. We're taking the mediums and we're going to fuel up, and I think we're going to take at least 8 laps of fuel up. 0.3% left. We've got 7 laps to go. And we pitted with 1 minute and 5 to go. So we're on fuel map 1, so let's take it all the way and take 7.5 laps of fuel, because we're going to try and do a couple of these quickly. There's 7.2, that'll do. We had 1 minute and 6 counting. Back down to the 19th on the lap in, but I'm still going to try and hit a 1:30 if I can on a lap time. I won't do it if I overshoot the corner though, will I? See if we can get some warmth out of the tyres and go from there. Mr. Portilla's gone in again, so we're 1 minute and 9 ahead. Braking on the 150 is just a little bit too slow. Everybody, I think we're going to have to, is going to pit again, so I don't think there's any harm in, I think we're going to majorly lap everyone, I'd suggest. Little tap from the Porsche there. See if I can get around this corner without stuffing it into the wall. And then into the back of the Corvette. He's gone to the pits, Mr. McEwen. We haven't actually used the Corvette, have we, at Lego? And I've always found the Corvettes to be really quite stable cars. So it might not be no harm to race one here, see if we can get something out of it. I have no issue with grinding as long as I enjoy it, and I spoke to somebody this week that said he never wants to do the grinding again. It was such hardcore when he did it. Picked the same car, ran thousands of laps, just generated the cash. He's bought all the cars, and there's no disrespect to somebody that's done that. That's hardcore. I'm just trying to give you offer a solution, a different way of grinding, some way to enjoy the game. I enjoy it so much. I've got no need to hate the game for whatever reason. There's so many things wrong with the game that I don't think I have to want or need to hate the game anymore. Not that I do hate it. There's plenty to enjoy, and one of them is this kind of content. It's a great little race. It's competitive. Not every car I'm going to show you is going to be able to walk it and storm the race. We want to be able, I don't want to go to the pits unless they're not. There we go. 133. Let's see if we can put a good in. We've lapped up to 4th, so we're doing alright. We haven't got a time now. .113 ahead. I wonder if some of the classics like the older GT40s might go well here. See if we can get some pace out of it. Maybe the Living Legend might work well here. You know, I'm not planning to use the old Lightning machine. Everybody's favourite fastest car. Can't remember what it's called. Gone out of my head. It'll come to me. You know which one I'm talking about there, don't you? Have I just lost that 0.6 of a second there? Just tried to be a bit too quickly. Be a bit too quickly. Be a bit too quick. Mr. Fraga's gone to the pit, so we're going to put him a lap down. Mr. Portilla's just gone through. There's a 31. So Mr. Portilla is the only one not to be lapped. With Purple Murder, we're alright for fuel, I think. Just alright for fuel. We'll just have to assess. Tyres are looking good. I think a 30's out. I don't think we're going to get a 30. But one thing we have done is we've lapped the whole field. No, there's a 30. And we're on for fuel. Fuel is at the right point. Just a little bit of concentration there. I apologise for the silence as I'm just coming round to do this. Well, we'll start the chitter chatter off again. Just 2 laps to go as we come round. Trying to keep the power down. Just outside the 30, so the fastest lap of 30, sorry. It very much outclasses the field, this car. This is an absolute beauty. But I wonder how boring it would get if you're actually 100% racing this one car around the circuit. And once you've bought it, folks, you've got it for good. You just have to keep changing that oil. Don't forget that the oil parameters have changed in this last update. It's a pretty decent lap time, that 1:30. I don't think there'll be many cars that get close to that. I could probably go faster. I don't want to go faster and stuff it off the track and lose time. See if we come up against the gaggle of cars on the last lap. Mr. McEwen again goes to the pits as we come past him. He's a little bit of a frightened mushroom, isn't he? Mr. Beauvoir gives us a tap as we go in. He wasn't friendly at all there, was he? He knows he's probably on his way to being 2 laps down. Well, he is done for 2 laps down. But this is the final lap, so... that little car in front of us? Is that the Alpha, or is that the GT40 again? No, it's the Alpha, isn't it? The 4C. Great looking car. Mr. Solis, put you behind us and brake on the 175. Rear tyres are just starting to look and feel a little bit done for. 4% left on the fuel. Oh, and there we go. It just gave up for us on that last corner. The front didn't want to turn, oversteered it. We could probably put a little bit more downforce into the front, but that would change the PP. The PP was tuned exactly for 800, I'm assuming, using the front wing downforce. Here we go through the line, 0-0. We're just going to run out of fuel as we go across the line with a 134. There she is, an absolute stunner. And a little bit scratched up, but she survived the race. She won it in first place with a total time of 23:48, so sub 24. That's going to be one hell of a title to beat. Going to have to see how the AI drive it when we're racing against the AI, which means we have to have an absolutely tip-top motor. Just looking down the list, I wonder if the Le Mans WRX is a car to bring here, you know. Well, we'll have to see. There's some suggestions. A 1:37.02 fastest lap. And where's the cash? 727,500 with a clean race bonus. So, not too bad. That takes us to 5.7 million. We're growing in the bank. We're growing. 47.6. And of course, the 3-star, just to make you feel wanted and loved. Well, that's it for today's race, folks. Thank you very much. We'll see you on the next one in the series. All the best. Take care.